Hi guys, and welcome back to the vlog. This is Susie from Sea Salt and Stitches. This is the fourth and final video in my Hemlock hack series. I'm taking the Grainline Hemlock tee and doing 4 different hacks to it. The Hemlock tee is a free downloadable pattern from Grainline, and I've put a link to it in the description box down below so you can get it there. And I have previously already shown you how to do a short sleeved hack, how to do a cowl neck hack similar to this jumper, and a color blocking hack. So in this video I am showing you how to recreate a t-shirt sort of like this one, that I found. I couldn't find one exactly like the one I wanted to do, but yes, we're adding a ruffle to the drop shoulder here. And in the video I show you how to draft the pattern piece for your ruffle and how to insert it into the seam. I don't do a full step-by-step instructions for the rest of the t-shirt because I've already done that in the very first video for the short sleeve hack. So if you do want a step-by-step instruction, then click on the link in the description box for the short sleeve tutorial. But if you want to know how to do the ruffle sleeve hack, then keep watching. Okay, so to draft the ruffle for our ruffle sleeve hack, you're going to need some tracing paper. I get mine from Amazon. I'll put a link down below if you're interested. It has grid markings on it. They're a centimetre by a centimetre. You don't have to have that, but I find it very handy. It can be just plain tissue paper, it's not a problem. Your original sleeve piece, just ignore that black mark there. That was for when I was drafting a short sleeve piece. So, you know, yours might not have that line on it, so don't worry about that. A ruler, and I also have a French curve, which you don't have to have, but it is handy because we will be doing some curved lines. I'll put a link down below for where I buy that as well. It's just off Amazon. They're not too expensive, but they are really, really handy, so I do recommend investing in one. Okay, so a little bit of maths involved here. But I'm going to do most of it for you and you can just copy what I've done. You need to measure this line here of your sleeve, which is 41 centimetres. Just a little note guys, I'm going to be talking in centimetres rather than inches because that's how my brain works. I will try and remember to put up the imperial equivalent on the screen as I'm talking through if you are more of an inches person instead. So 41 centimetres for that. Now your ruffle has to be longer in order to create the gathers. If you want it super duper gathered and ruffly, then maybe do double, so 82 centimetres long for the piece that we're about to draft. I don't want it too ruffly, so I'm only going to add half on again, so 21 centimetres has to be added on to the 41. So we're dealing with 63 centimetres long. Okay, so my ruler is only 60 centimetres, so I need to just add a tiny bit on. All I'm going to do, and you can just use a pencil if you prefer, I'm using a pen so that you can see my markings. 60, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now this line here you can see has a very slight curve, so I'm going to copy that as well. You don't have to, you can just do a straight line, it really doesn't matter, but just for the sake of this I'm going to do a very slight curve. So we need to find the center mark, which is 31.5. That's there. So I'm going to measure 1 centimetre towards me from that mark, and I'm going to use my French curve to do a very gentle curve. My French curve's not really long enough for this, but just make it work. Okay, so now you have to decide how large you want your ruffle to be at its largest point, which is the outer part of your arm. We're going to be tapering it away to nothing underneath the arms, but it's going to be larger at the middle here. So I've decided I want mine to be 10 centimeters long, okay? But you also have to bear in mind that there is a seam allowance to allow for, so I'm going to allow a 1 centimeter seam allowance because the hemlock has a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, which is roughly the same as a centimeter. So just for the sake of this paper, I'm going to do 1 centimeter. And then also we need to add a little hem on the edge of our ruffle as well. So I'm going to allow 1 centimeter for that. So that means I need 12 centimeters up from this line that we've drawn, and that is there, and mark it directly in the center as well. Okay, now also at the ends here we need to allow for 1 centimeter seam allowance plus the 1 centimeter hem. So mark 2 centimeters up or down from the end of the line that you've drawn on either side. And now we just need to curve ourselves back that way. What you want to do is make sure that you're not ending up with a point here. You want to make this as sort of flat-ish as possible, rather than a point, because that will not look nice and also will be hard to hem. So depending on the type of fabric that you're going to be using, it may or may not be easier to either cut this as one flat piece like this, or to fold it in half and cut 2 of them on the fold. So you're obviously going to have to cut 2. Right, that cut. Oh, I did my T the wrong way. It's going to look like an I. Cut. 2. Cut 2. Okay. So you're going to have to cut 2, either flat out like this or fold it in half and you know, put that on the fold there, and then you'll end up with it. But you'd have to then make another one of these and cut it out again. I'm going to do this. Okay, so to make the hemlock ruffle sleeve hack, you need the hemlock bodice front piece, the bodice back piece, the normal sleeve, or a longer or shorter sleeve depending on the look you particularly want. You can check out my other videos for how to lengthen or shorten it, or do it yourself. Your neck binding piece, and then you need the new piece that you've just drafted, which is the hemlock ruffle. Okay, now we're at the stage where we're going to be inserting the sleeves. So we need to prepare our ruffle pieces for this. So I've got them here. This is wrong sides out. And the first thing we're going to do is a really small hem, well, 1 centimeter, 3/8 of an inch. Just turn it over by the 1 centimeter. You can pin it in place all the way around. Obviously it's on this curved edge, the strongly curved edge, and I'm going to top stitch that into place. I'm not going to pin it, but if you want to be as precise as possible, then you go ahead and pin first and then we'll top stitch, okay? So now we have both of the ruffles have had a hem put on and I've pressed them. So what we're going to do now is, unfortunately, we have to change the needle in our regular sewing machine and just put in, change it from the twin needle to just a single ballpoint needle, and we're going to run some basting stitches along this edge here and gather them. Okay, so let's do that now. Since we've only left 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, remember to keep your basting stitches within your seam allowance. Okay, I always run 2 lines of stitches for gathering. Make sure they don't cross each other. Okay, once we have our 2 lines of basting stitches along here, we're going to gather it in to be the same length as the top of our sleeve piece here. And we are going to pin it in place, and then we're going to do a really quick zigzag stitch to just baste it in place actually, and then attach the sleeves to the bodice. Once you get the piece the right length, we can pin the 2 ends in position, and then we can distribute the ruffles or the gathers more evenly. The main thing at the moment is just getting it the right length. And we're doing it this time around. Normally I say right side to right side for everything. For this, we're putting the wrong side of the ruffle onto the right side of the sleeve. So both have right sides facing up. And then just pin it in place when you're happy enough with your gathers. And we're going to do a quick zigzag stitch along there to secure it in place. So obviously do that to both of your sleeves. Attach the ruffle to the top of the sleeve, and then we're now going to attach the sleeves to the bodice, and it's just as you would do if you're just making the regular hemlock tee. It's no different at all. stitching your sides of your t-shirts together, make sure your ruffles are not going to get caught in your stitching. Push them well out of the way. Are done. I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial on how to make the ruffle sleeve hack to the hemlock. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Actually, I probably never would have even tried this style because I always thought that putting a ruffle on my sort of upper arm would draw attention to an area I don't really like, but do you know what? I really like it, so I'm so pleased that this series has sort of pushed me out of my comfort zone slightly, so excited about that. If you want to know how to make the short sleeved hack or the cowl neck hack or the colour block hack, the links will be in the description box below. You'll also maybe notice that this t-shirt is slightly longer and has a curved hem. I did that because that's my personal preference of how I like my t-shirts to be, especially with the curved hem. If you want to know how to do your own curved hem, you can watch the first video, the short sleeved hack. That's how I show you how to just put a curved sleeve on, curved hem, sorry, on any t-shirt actually. But this one I actually did, instead of cutting the t-shirt out and then adding the curved hem, which is how I show you in the first video, I actually did it at the cutting out stage and of the fabric, and I added a couple of inches to the length. So it's an easy thing to do. So I really hope you enjoyed watching these series. Please do give me a thumbs up for these videos if you've enjoyed them. They do actually take quite a lot of work to put together. There's an awful lot of editing, various different stages of the video, so I really hope you do enjoy them. If you do, give me a thumbs up and I'll know to keep making tutorials like this. Also do subscribe because, as I say, I want to keep making tutorials like this also, so you'll be updated. If you click the bell, you'll get notifications on when my other videos are up, and I really hope to see you again next time. Bye!